In a certain town, 4 individuals met their demise simultaneously, each hailing from distinct backgrounds and possessing varying beliefs. Among them was the king of the realm, a prosperous merchant, a devout priest, and a humble laborer. By mere chance, they all departed from life at the same moment. Upon their passing, they found themselves in the court of the god of death in the afterlife. The god of death presided over the proceedings from an imposing throne at the front of the court. To one side loomed the gate of hell, from which flames and scorching winds emanated, while on the opposite side stood the gate of heaven, resplendent with divine light and gentle breezes. Beside the god of death was his assistant, who was diligently reviewing the life records of the 4 souls. As they awaited their judgment, the 4 began to deliberate on their actions and transgressions, speculating on who would ascend to heaven and who would descend to hell. The king, brimming with confidence, proclaimed his generosity and just rule, asserting, "I shall undoubtedly enter heaven. I have engaged in numerous charitable acts, made generous donations, and governed with equity. My subjects have always held me in high regard." The affluent merchant echoed this sentiment, stating, "I too have performed many virtuous deeds, providing food and financial assistance to the needy. I am destined for heaven as well." The priest, equally assured, remarked, "While I cannot speak for you, I have conducted countless rituals and worshipped God. I have guided others toward righteousness and thus deserve my place in heaven." They then turned their attention to the laborer, who sat quietly with a subtle smile, inquiring about his good deeds. They were met with his humble admission, "I possess no remarkable accomplishments. My only efforts were to work diligently to support my family and care for my elderly parents." This prompted laughter and derision from the 3 others. Eventually, their time for judgment arrived, and the assistant of the god of death first summoned the king to account for his deeds. The king responded. The king proclaimed with pride, "I have provided sustenance for thousands, contributed gold coins to the impoverished, and governed with fairness. There has been no discontent in my realm." The assistant, perusing the king's life record, responded, "Your Majesty, while you have indeed performed numerous commendable acts, you have also engaged in several wars, invaded various kingdoms out of avarice, and caused the demise of countless innocent lives and soldiers. Your transgressions overshadow your virtuous deeds. You are not worthy of heaven, rather, you are destined for hell." Upon hearing this, the king's expression fell in dismay, and he took a step back. Subsequently, the assistant summoned the affluent merchant to recount his actions. The merchant advanced and detailed his charitable contributions, stating, "I have provided food for the needy and donated funds to the less fortunate and to temples. I have accomplished many good deeds." The assistant examined the merchant's life record and remarked, "You have indeed performed many benevolent acts, however. You have also taken advantage of the poor through exorbitant interest loans, ensnaring them in perpetual debt. Furthermore, you adulterated the food products you sold, resulting in illness for many. Your sins surpass your good deeds. You cannot enter heaven." The merchant's countenance dimmed with disappointment, and he stepped back. The assistant then called upon the priest to present his deeds. The priest approached and began to enumerate his merits, stating, "I have conducted numerous sacred rituals, devoted my life to worshipping God, and guided many individuals along the righteous path. I have performed many holy ceremonies." The assistant of the god of death interjected, "Priest, while you have indeed accomplished many good deeds, your motivations were tainted by a desire for monetary gain. You preached virtue but failed to embody it yourself. Your actions reveal selfishness and hypocrisy. You too cannot enter heaven." The priest's face fell in disappointment as he stepped back. Finally, it was the turn of the humble laborer. The assistant inquired about his deeds. To which the laborer replied modestly, "I have not achieved anything remarkable in my life. I was merely a laborer who toiled diligently to support my family and care for my elderly parents. I never possessed sufficient means to offer donations to others." Upon stating this, he began to retreat. The assistant glanced at his lifebook and remarked, "Please hold on a moment. Do you recall the time you fed a stray dog?" The laborer reflected on the memory and replied, "Yes, sir, I have a vague recollection of that." He recounted, "One evening, after a long day of labor, I had very little food remaining for my family. After ensuring they were fed, I was about to eat my solitary piece of bread when a hungry stray dog approached and sat before me. I offered him the bread and went to bed with an empty stomach." The assistant closed his book, regarded the laborer with kindness, and stated, "My friend, your altruistic gesture of sharing your only piece of bread with a hungry dog has garnered you significant merit. Furthermore, your diligent work and ethical means of supporting your family and caring for your elderly parents have accumulated immense merit in your life. These actions are more than sufficient to grant you access to heaven." Upon hearing this, the laborer's eyes widened in astonishment, and tears began to stream down his face. Shortly thereafter, the gates of heaven opened, allowing the impoverished laborer to enter, while the other three looked on in disbelief. If we reflect on our lives, we will come to understand that wealth and fame are inconsequential. What truly matters is earning a living through honorable means, working diligently, nurturing and caring for one's family, and serving elderly parents, as these actions accumulate enough merit to secure a favorable future. By extending help to those in need, whether they are humans or animals, we cultivate merits that bring both happiness and fulfillment in this life and the next. The king, the merchant, and the priest, despite their numerous good deeds, were motivated by self-interest and pride. Their actions were marred by selfish intentions and sins that overshadowed their virtues. In contrast, the laborer's humble act of feeding a hungry dog, performed with genuine compassion, outweighed all his life's hardships. True righteousness is discovered in small, selfless acts of kindness. These actions possess the ability to purify us from our transgressions and guide us toward genuine fulfillment, both in our earthly existence and in the hereafter.